So I have to give a huge shout out to start this video off from Just BN Reckless on Twitter, who actually sent me this video. So I appreciate it because I did not see this beforehand. So shout out to you for sending me this. But this is quite the interesting take by Nick Wright. Now, Nick Wright has been very logical with his takes as of, last year or so when it comes to things he says we should do. And I've given him his credit, his comeuppance, and I've said, yeah, I agree with a lot of things he says. Now, he created an interesting idea here. And, usually when I hear a T. Higgins trade, my first thing is, no way in heck, we're not going to do that. But the idea is not the most horrendous idea possible. So what he said is the Bengals should trade T. Higgins for Davante Adams. Straight up. No bull crap, no left, right, and center, no other picks included. Just a straight one-for-one Davante Adams, who requested trade out of Las Vegas, one-for-one to get him here. And we give up T. Higgins. Now, right now, at this moment in time, I do want to bring this up because it's very important. We got to look at Davante Adams' contract. Now, keep in mind, the Raiders don't want to get rid of Davante Adams. Davante Adams wants out of Las Vegas, mainly because he doesn't have a quarterback. Now, his salary, the next 3 years, this year would be $16.8 million. And again, his salary cap doesn't matter because his cap hit for the Raiders, if I go over here, is all with guaranteed money. This is like signing bonus money, so this doesn't matter. All that matters is these numbers right here. His base salary. This is what we would pay him. The Raiders would have to be on the hook for the rest of the signing bonus. But $16.8 million this year. So he would actually cost $5 million less dollars than T. Higgins. 35 next year, 36 a year after that, right? Have him a 3-year contract. And in this category, in this idea, we would not have to trade, we would not have to sign T. Higgins. So we would get a wide receiver who is arguably the best wide receiver in the league, who is old, who is definitely is up there in age, but would cost us in the long term less money because of the fact that he already is under contract and we don't have to pay his signing bonus and we just have to pay his base salary. That would get us off the hook of having to pay T. Higgins. And in return, we would get a star receiver. It's not the most outrageous idea possible. It really isn't. Like most ideas that get put up there with the T. Higgins trade is just ridiculous. I mean, it's just stupid stuff. But this one actually makes a lot of logical sense. Outside of his age, because age is definitely going to be a problem with the receiver position eventually, he's an amazing wide receiver. And he can stay healthy. And he can stay on the field. And even in the Raiders offense, which really right now is piss poor, we could still, he was still very successful. So the only thing that really kills me here would be his age. Because in theory, you're trading one of the best wide receivers in the NFL for a guy who, in T. Higgins, who obviously has hamstring injuries this year. But for the most part, I think T is still a top 15 receiver. So it's a lopsided trade in that category, but again, Davante Adams is requesting a trade. He doesn't want to be in Las Vegas anymore. There's a whole bunch of issues right now with the coach. Apparently, their coach, Alan Pierce, went ahead and liked posts on social media saying that the Raiders should trade away Davante Adams. And when your coach likes a post like that, it causes a huge rift. And now you have Davante Adams going K. Adams show and saying that, Alan their head coach hasn't even like reached out to him, hasn't said anything to him, which is really bad. I mean, after that, the first thing you should do as a coach probably is reach out to your player and communicate like, hey man, I didn't mean to do that. Even if you're gonna lie, just say, hey, I didn't mean to do that. That was, completely an accident or whatever. But none of that happened, and instead there's very radio silence when it comes to any conversation. So other than age, it's not a bad trade. It really isn't. The Raiders are in a situation where they need to get rid of this guy because he doesn't want to be on the team anymore. We're in a situation where we need to either pay T or we're going to lose T. And if we lose T, we'll get a 3rd round pick for him. And I don't think we're going to pay him. I got it. Again, like I said, I shoot down every single trade possible for T. Higgins because I don't want him going there. I want him on the team. I love him. But I will say this is the first trade I've heard where I take a step back and I say, whoa, okay, maybe this makes sense. Maybe this is logical. It's just the age. It's just the age. If Davante was the same age as T, it's a no-brainer. But when you look at the age, that's where the problem happened. Now, of course, T does also have, again, hamstring injuries this year, got hurt a little bit last year. So that's also a factor you have to remember. And by the way, the Raiders have the money to pay him. They could pay him. So I know someone's going to say like, oh, well, now the Raiders have to pay him also. They'll pay him a contract. I mean, first off, the base salary of Davante Adams' contract comes off their cap hit. And then, again, they have to pay, the base salary. But the main salary, the base, they have to pay a signing bonus. The base salary, though, comes off their cap hit. So they'll pay T. Higgins, and based on what it looks like, I don't think T really cares where he goes when it comes to like what quarterback throws him the ball. I think T just wants to get paid, and T just wants to get money. And if he just wants to get money and he's just going to chase money, then it might just be in his best interest to go to the Raiders because they can pay him a lot of money. And that might just work out for him. And again, like I said, I do want the best for T. I know, again, entertaining an idea of trading for him is ridiculous, and I don't think we will trade him away. By the way, I really don't. But I have to say this is not the most ridiculous idea, and I'm always going to look at it as in the aspect of what's best for the Bengals and what's best for Bengals Nation here and Who Dey Nation. And I don't think this is the most outrageous trade you could suggest, but I don't think we're going to do it. I don't think we would, and I'm very torn on whether we should or not. If they offered this and I was the head coach, I would really consider it. I really would. It's age. If Davante was the same age as T. Higgins, it would. I mean, that's not even a question. But outside of age, $16 million for a receiver this year. You get back $5 million off T. That's nice. That's nice money. That's another free agent. That's another extra player. I mean, it's definitely interesting. But tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. I'll see you guys next one. Again, shout out to my man's on Twitter here for telling me about this.